My name is AnupamKumar, and I am from Department of Agriculture and Food Engineering, and I had my masters in Financial Engineering. So from my day one, I was shortlisted in Goldman Sachs. I was shortlisted in Axis Bank. I was shortlisted in Credit Suisse. I was then shortlisted in Ernst and Young, and then I was shortlisted in Cart Hero Technology. So after facing few rejections from day one and day two, finally I managed to get a very nice interview with Ernst and Young and also with Cart Hero Technology. And I got a job in Cart Hero Technology, and in Ernst and Young I was in waiting list. So I will discuss about these two interviews and how I worked for these, and what was my preparation strategy. So in CV, the major highlight in my CV is I have my profile is typically a finance based profile, and I have an actuary course which is certification from Indian Institute of Actuaries. But in Cart Hero Technology, since it is a startup, so they are mainly focused on problem solving skill, not much focused on how you are talking and all that. And second thing, they are focused on if there is some spike in your CV, something different from the rest. So in Cart Hero Technology, I will discuss the interview later on. So first of all, let me come to how I prepared for this whole placement season. So first of all, let me tell you that placement season is quite rigorous, and people start losing hope when they start getting rejected, the shortlist do not come, and we all need to keep ourselves quite patient in that time. I started my preparation for placement almost before Durga Puja, I should say, in July end and August start. So first step for placement preparation in IITs is to prepare your CV. So to prepare your CV, simple advice is, first of all you ask your seniors, ask them for some sample CVs, see them, and just try to mark out what different types of formats are being used, and which profile is suiting you the best, and then you start preparing some sample CV. Once you start preparing your sample CV, you should send to your seniors. Try to send CVs to three types of senior. First, who quite very good expertise on overall extra academics and PORs, position of responsibility, so he will take care of that part. Then second, you should send your CVs to technical people, because since you have your academic project in your academics, that may be in finance, that may be in your department, so send your CVs to those people. They will see how you have written the typical points in your academic projects, how you can make it better, how you can make it more quantitative, how you can change small words and make it better. And then third, you should send CVs to some people who have came out with a very nice profile, very nice offers, so that they can take care of you, how you are presenting your whole CV, where you are keeping the POR, and where you are keeping the other stuffs, where you are keeping the internship stuff, and all these things. Once you start sending CV, you are getting feedbacks, you keep on recursively, you keep on changing CVs, and after a period of time you will feel that yeah, my CV is looking good, and most of the seniors will okay you. Then you can go away with the CV preparation stage. One more thing is that sometimes people start putting very much time on CV and neglecting other things. This is also not good. There is some specified amount of time you should keep on CV, and other than that, in the parallelly you should also start reading puzzles, first of all, case studies, and other your sector wise interview related stuff. Like if you are in your core sector, then you should study your course very nicely. If you are trying for finance sector, then you should study the finance stuffs, how market is behaving. You should start tracking the market and economics for at least 2 to 3 months. These things really help. Then second preparation stage is when in the month of August you start getting the sense that the tests will coming in. So if you have one CAT model study book, or some any book which is sufficient for CAT, and you just need to, so daily you just need to solve 2 to 3 hours, you solve the you solve the aptitude questions, you solve the English questions, and that will be enough. So every day that should be in your in your study part. And then other apart from that, you should also start preparing how you are reading your CV, whatever you have written in that, how it can be interpreted, what other questions can be asked on this. So this is on preparation. Third thing is that what to expect from interview. I will talk about two types of interview. One is the finance interview, which is largely a banks, and then other the startup in which I got. So for banks, first of all, they will, you need to go for a one question answer session, that is one aptitude test. But in most of the banks, like you see Credit Suisse, or we can say the Goldman Sachs, these people, they do not ask you a straight simple aptitude question. They will ask you probability, they will ask you matrices, and they will ask you some data science part. So you should be very prepared on that if you want to go into that. And the PD, partial differential equation also. Then other firms will ask you simple mathematics, simple aptitude. For that your CAT preparation is enough. After, and then in a startup, actually they will not ask you very much thing. You, if you go for a startup interview, there are three types of profile. One is operation, and for operation profile I am not much aware of. Other is a business strategist or business analyst profile. For business strategist or business analyst profile, first of all they will start with problem solving skill. They will ask you questions from geometry, simple geometry, circles, tangents, all these things. Then they will come to probability, simple probability, ball problems, white ball, black ball problems, and then some puzzles. For puzzles, let me tell you, generally startup people ask you puzzle from internet or from books like Heard on a Street. So if you just go through the chapter 1 of Heard on a Street, it is enough for puzzles. You can crack any interview in IITs for puzzles. Then they will grill you on your CV, that what type of analytics work you have done, how your course can help them in business analytics. Because I was from financial engineering background, and they said that you are appearing for business analyst, how you are going to help us. So I told them that in financial engineering we read lifetime value of customer, we read how to calculate present value of projects, and we can use all those. So try to connect your CV, connect your profile with them anyway. Second thing is that in a startup there should be something different in you than other people. Like I am a poetry enthusiast and I write a lot. So they ask me, so what do you write? I said I write poetry. What type of poetry? I said social and other things. So he said, okay, एक poem सुनाओ. So मैंने एक poem सुनाया and he was very much impressed. So this is really awesome. So maybe in that first interview I did not perform very well because one of the puzzle I was not been able to make it correct. But that thing actually overcome the scenario, and he sent me for the second round. In second round again they will ask you some problem solving skill, and then in second round they will grill you that what type of work you have done which can help you. So for in my case I had some work on customer retention analysis, and that I explained to him. And then he asked that have you worked on some software? I told him I worked on SPSS and RStudio. Then he said that have you worked on Tableau or not? I said not, but then he said that you have some SQL profile and that is going to help. So if there is something like this, if you are applying for business strategies and you have some SQL profile, so SQL is written in your course or it is written in your skill set, so they will find that yeah, this guy can handle database very easily, so that will be a plus point. So this is from the startup point of view. From bank point of view, if you are going for interview in Axis Bank, you get into there, they straight away start grilling on your CV, tell me about yourself, typical stuffs, and then they will come down to case interviews. In Axis, this is strikingly different from typical bank interview. They do not ask case, but Axis asks case, and I was also surprised and that they are asking case. So they will ask you interview, case study. For case study, there is one book called Case Interview Cracked, written by two IIT Bombay guy, and that book I think is very good and enough for IIT interview preparation, and that is better than the Case in Point. Case in Point is quite rigorous and written in a different style, American style. Database is typically not in our demographics, so stick to Case Interview Cracked, and if you just solve 5 to 6 cases from all the sector of Case Interview Cracked, you will be able to crack that case interview. They will then Axis also ask some puzzles and all that you will be able to crack if you have done the chapter 1 of Herd Industry. For banks like JP Morgan, they come with a profile like reporting analyst, and the name is equity analyst, but the major role is reporting. So their first round is they will ask you to write 2 essay or 2 questions they will give you, they will ask you to write something on that, and if you do very well, then they will select you in the next round, and in the next round they will only ask you about market, what is going on in the economy, what do you expect from the market, from which sector you are expecting nicely, and all these things. So if you are actually going for JP Morgan, you need to be very much prepared about market, nothing technical, only markets. Then for Goldman Sachs, this time Goldman Sachs has hired 19 people from our camp, and for Goldman Sachs they have actually 3 analyst profile, but if you are very good in any one thing, that may be data science, or that may be probability, or that may be finance, and that may be programming. So if you are good in any one thing, then you can crack the interview with a little bit leverage in programming. So my finance interview went very well. So he said that yeah, this is very nice, and he talked to me about Black-Scholes model. Generally finance interview nobody talks about these models because these comes in very later stage. So he talked about this, and then he sent me to programming interview. But I didn't have very much good background, even a decent background on programming, so I could not crack it. So if you have a decent background in programming, just C+, little bit, then also you can crack the Goldman Sachs, just knowing either probability or finance or data science. So this is about all these things. And finally, learning advice: stay calm, stay patient, and placement season is quite rigorous. During first 5-6 days it's very rigorous. Sometimes you need to stay in Nalanda for continuous 13, 15 or 20 hours, so you need to be prepared for it. Keep food items in your bag, or else you will suffer a lot. Keep water with yourself, and keep some friends around you who will keep on giving you tempo, and you will all the best.
Thank you very much.